see here. Hi everyone. This is DMB at AU4A, and we have some special guests with us today, and we're so excited for you to meet them. The amazing woman that I have recently met, someone that was a very special person on this earth and brought so much love and so much joy and so much God back into a place where we were starting to lose God in such a special way through his art, and that's the great late Pierre Matisse. And we would like to introduce you to his wife, Jean, who is the most amazing woman I have met in a very long time. They don't make him like you anymore, Jean.
Some people would say that's not a bad thing.
I tend to disagree because in the short time that I have known you, you have been such an inspiration. And you and your love for your husband, and the love that, without knowing him, that I could see him get from you as an inspiration, and I can see it in every piece of his art, just reminds me of what we tend to lose nowadays. The really important things in life: the love, the laughter, the hearts, the moments, the kisses.
The families.
The families. And we also have another very special person with us today. And his name is Sham.
Would you like some water?
No, I have coffee.
Okay.
This is how we go. Very natural, guys, if you know me. So, Sham, I want to ask you how you know this woman, because this is something that we constantly forget. The ability of what God can create in our lives and how he brings special meanings to our life, special moments in our life, special things that we tend to take for granted nowadays, that we're taking God out of our homes.
By the grace of God. That's all. That's how we know each other.
And Sham is a person that I don't even know how to describe you, honestly. And I'm gonna actually ask Jean to describe you, because in this circle of friends, and we call ourselves the pyramid, or two pyramids that add together and become a Star of David. So, Jean, tell us about Sham.
Okay, well, Shem had businesses here in the area, and Pierre and I would go out to where some of his businesses were every weekend, or every few weekends, and Pierre would always go and look for Shem, and they would visit and they would talk, and I would go do my thing, which was to find all the jewelry that I could find in one flea market, okay, and just have fun and visit and see people that I hadn't seen in a while. And then Pierre and I would rendezvous where you would buy all the fresh vegetables and fruits, and we'd buy that and put it in our car. And every time we'd get in the car, Pierre would say to me, "I saw Shem," and I go, "Great," and then he'd say, "But I forgot to give him the book." And I'd say, "Oh," and we always had a box of books in the car ever since Pierre's book came out. And he'd say to me, "Next time," because he didn't want to take the book and go back over and find Shem while he was, probably doing his business. So he'd just tell me about what they talked about, either on the ride home or when we'd get home and comfortable. And it was always, it had to do with health, or it had to do with art. Okay. And how people live their lives. So you know how when you haven't met someone, you assume, you kind of get a feel for
and their
age.
sound.
Yes. So because of what Pierre was telling me and the maturity of the conversations, and I mean, in the latter years, I mean, he was 89, 90, 91, and visiting with Shem. And so in my mind, I knew that Shem was between 55 and 65 years old. And so Pierre would say to me, I've invited him out to the house. When he calls, make sure you give him directions. I want him to come out and see my studio, and you know. And I'd say, okay. Shem didn't call. And so I never got to invite him, but it's because he was doing so many other things. I also think God has perfect timing.
Godspeed.
Okay, perfect timing. When Shem heard through the grapevine that Pierre had passed, he called to pay his condolences and said he regretted not having come out. And I said, well, I can tell you right now, Pierre always wanted you to see the studio. And I said, and he had something he wanted to give you. And I said, so if you are willing, I'd like to have you come out, and I'd like you to do it soon, because I'm not quite sure of how long I'm going to stay here, or how long I was going to leave his studio with nothing being touched and everything the way it was when he was here creating. And so Shem said, I'll come out the next day. And so the next day he came out. We spent several hours visiting with me, showing him all the artwork and talking about Pierre, my favorite subject, and definitely Shem's a big one for him as well. And then Shem started asking me questions because he could see that I was having a lot of difficulty getting around and could not overcome it. I had an infection for about 3 years. I couldn't get rid of that. And so then Shem said, well, if I remember correctly, he said, unless you're calling the police to have me kicked out, I'm not leaving, because I'm not leaving you here alone. Pierre wouldn't like that. And so he went and got his yoga mat, because I didn't have an extra bedroom to use, and he moved into Pierre's office. And it's been 7 weeks now. I've been 17 years since I could really walk and get around. In these 7 weeks, he's got my foot healed up almost completely with his knowledge and the things that we've worked on together. And I can't walk a lot yet.
But I've seen you dance.
Yes, I do dance, okay. And so I've gotten that freedom back to be able to move around and do things. And all of that because Pierre and Shem were friends.
And this is also something that brings back to mind something we're losing nowadays. Something we're losing as human beings. The ability to not only consider yourself, your feelings, your needs, your wants, but to consider the person that's in front of you, the person that's in your mind, the person that you see. And nowadays we forget. We wake up in the morning saying to ourselves, what am I going to do today? What am I going to get out of the day? We don't wake up saying, how am I going to attack the day? And what am I going to give today?
You want to know what I do every morning?
Yes.
Been doing it since my children, who are some of them in their 50s, were babies. Every morning I get up and I say, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. So I start off positive and I just keep going. If I'm going to bring somebody something, I want it to be positive.
Now, Jean, I know Pierre was an amazing, talented human being, but not only that, he was a great, amazing patriot of this country.
Absolutely. The book took him 20 years to write, okay, over 20, but it took him 91 years to live it, okay. A few weeks before he was taken ill and we lost him, we sat here talking and something had happened and I was my usual upset over it because I love this country. I want to see it saved. I understand that if we lose the freedoms that we have here, no one around the world will ever have those freedoms. And Pierre understood that too, okay? And the basic is, the world is for love. You have to have freedom in order to be able to choose to love. Freedom is everything, and he understood that. And he sat here and he said to me, you know, I spent my childhood fighting for freedom because he was involved with the underground, with the British intelligence society through his father, John. And he spent the last year and a half on the run from the Gestapo. He saw what people went through. He saw what happened. He had friends that were murdered by the Gestapo because they were caught at 50, okay? He understood the cost that was paid on the battlefield for that freedom. And it meant everything to him. And after the war was over, and he saw communism and socialism rising up in Europe, he said, that's not what we fought for. That's not what we were looking for. We were looking for freedom. And he made up his mind right then and there that he was coming to America, because America is freedom. He had to take the long way around because we had quotas, so he went to Canada first. And eventually, legally, he came into this country with his family.
And that's, I think, a big difference of why people confuse immigration and the conservative views on immigration. And you will probably say firsthand, you love immigration. We're all immigrants. Your husband was an immigrant.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
We just want it done the appropriate way, the proper way, the safe way.
If you love the freedom that we have in this country, and you come here as an immigrant, okay, and it's gotten harder and harder for some people, easier for some people, but Pierre was adamant about doing it the right way. He wanted to be an American. He was very proud of that. In fact, it's funny, he had that wonderful French accent.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go to a store and we'd be checking out, and he'd say something, and the little girl at the checkout would say, "Oh, that accent, are you French?" Okay, and instead of Pierre saying, "Yes, I am," Pierre would say, "No, I'm American." He was absolutely, how dare she?
Yeah, because in
his mind,
yeah,
that he had become American. And some of the one piece of artwork I showed you the other day, he made for me for the office. And it says Pierre H. Matisse up on top, in the corner. And underneath it, it doesn't say artist. It says patriot. And that piece is called Your Choice. And it's the voting and the whole ball of wax. And you've got the Constitution coming down through the center of it like a ribbon that kind of separates the top from the bottom. In the top you have the Tea Party, you have everything that is what America is. Then you go through the Constitution, you come below it, and what you see is reminiscent, okay? You've got a donkey with a swastika
on it.
Okay?
And that blew me away.
Because Pierre knew who was who, and he
Right.
put it in his artwork, okay? There was also other things down there that showed you socialism and different things. And then at the very bottom was the finish. At the top it said vote. Then you saw all the different choices. And then at the bottom it said your choice. That's freedom. Freedom is when we get to make the choice. But if we're going to make the choice, we have to understand what we're doing. We have to understand the powers that be and the evil that's come in and is trying to steal our freedom. I'm 73, but I've got great-grandchildren and grandchildren and children. I want them all to have that freedom. I want them all to be able to make that choice, to choose their country, to choose their love, to choose how they're going to live and who they're going to be. And we are going to lose all of that if socialism and communism
come into power.
come into power.
And unfortunately, and I'm going to repeat it again, and for all of you that usually watch us, it's something we're allowing to happen, and that's exactly why I was very impressed with Sham's view on this, because he's that generation that is in between our generations, and he communicates with the youth, and he himself, literally within the few days that we've been visiting, and we've had these conversations with people, this is so important too. And Sham has been learning about things that he did not understand. Why? Because in today's society, we're taking away religion, we're taking away education, we're taking away history. Sham, we were just speaking about this yesterday, how in school they took away the pledge allegiance to the flag when you were still in school.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 73. You're 73 years old.
Last I heard.
Mm-hmm. You had a birthday this year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Was born in 73. 1973. 1773 is a very important year, if you will. True or not?
True.
God knows God has a lot of people here.
The ability to find that connection between those people is something that really stood out to me, and the way we have connected within the last few days that I've been visiting, and the kind of energy and synergy everyone around us seems to have. The conversations that start up that are so important that we usually don't have. And even questions that we ask that nowadays we're afraid to ask. We're afraid to approach another human being because we're afraid to hurt their feelings. We're afraid to somehow say the wrong thing just by being curious.
I have to say, anytime you cannot be yourself, then you've cheated the person that's sitting next to you, because
Absolutely.
they didn't get to learn what they should have
Absolutely.
learned. They didn't get it shared the way it should be. That's one of the things I loved about Shem yesterday, was he shared with us what was going on in his heart and in his mind. And I don't know how to put it the way I want to put it, but it's to reach out and to share and to be so sure of the message that you have to offer. To be so sure, now that you've got it, that you're going to turn around and put it out there. That you're just going to be an encourager.
And I have to say, Shem, and Jean won't let me lie, when we were starting to talk about the program, about AU4A, and what we're doing with it, and how you got so excited in joining us, because you understood the whole point of the program. And Shem got so excited, he started literally spitting out ideas and his visions and how he wants to help and who he wants to help. And we were sitting here, me and Jean, dumbfounded at the community that came together within a small circle. The other day we were in a bigger circle, but it's still this community of people that are not like-minded, are different age groups, different generations, different
Interests.
backgrounds, and somehow we found each other by connecting through the love of our country and
Absolutely.
wanting to protect our country and wanting to support what is good for our country. And right now, with such evil staring us in the face, we felt almost like soldiers that united right before going to war and going on this mission knowing that we're ready to support each other.
God's got a mission for humanity. It's time. It's time for us to come together as humans, as people, respect and love one another.
One of the things that me and Shem were talking about yesterday too is what you said. A lot of the youth is lost in our voting system. They are non-believers of it. They think their vote doesn't count. And it's very difficult for someone in our position, in
Yeah.
Jean's position, my position, to explain this to them because they go and attack. And they go and attack because they don't have the information. And we were just literally, me, Shem, and Jean, we were discussing how to bring that information to the youth. And
That's-
Shem is very good at communicating with the youth. And at the same time, Shem is good with communicating with different age groups. And that's one of the values he holds where people his age and younger, unfortunately, are losing.
Regardless of your race, your religion, your color, regardless of all of our indifferences, regardless of what it is that you believe or others believe, remember your common, basic connections. We all breathe. We all walk. Even if we only walk in our minds. We all have so much in common.
I think there was something you said that I would like to just comment on,
Yes.
which is you were talking about trying to get to all the generations to understand, okay, what's going on or what's happening, and they don't understand. Part of the reason they don't understand is it's been blocked by misinformation, okay? They go out
Gee,
there.
now they call it fake news thanks to our president.
Yes, there you go.
The fake news.
Yes, but that's it, okay? When you change the stories of war from the revolution going forward, when you do away with the important parts that we need to remember of the cost that's paid, the price that's paid for this freedom. And freedom isn't free.
Oh, that's for
Pierre
sure.
and I, that was one of our big things, okay? Pierre, lots of times in the morning at breakfast, he'd say to me, freedom isn't free. And I said, no, it's just like brushing your teeth. You have to do it every day or you'll lose it.
There you go. And that's something our parents, our families instilled in us.
Absolutely.
The respect for our parents, for our grandparents, for our elderly. Respect overall is lost.
Absolutely.
Shem, tell us how. And you communicate constantly with people in that age group, in that demographic. Why, and how can we get through to them? How can we explain to them that that freedom that they use and misuse and overuse every single day, that this is going to be the first thing that's going to be taken away from them.
If lost, it is something that we will all lose, either together, we accept, fight for the right to speak freely, to express our individualities. As long as we can come together and somehow respect one another, no matter the age and difference, no matter the choice of worship, no matter the color, no matter what it is that seems to be the separating factor between each other. It is time to look towards a higher goal, unity, without go within or go without. Everything arrives in nature in duality and is nothing within itself. So if either or believes that they will exist without the other, come together.
And it's all about unity. Because if united we stand, divided we fall. Goes back to the golden rule.
Absolutely.
It goes back to the original sayings, original writings, original beliefs, and the original way of life. Unity brings us strength. Strength makes us strong. Strength makes us appreciate what we have because we're strong enough to handle what's handed to us.
And strength comes in numbers.
There you go.
It's unity.
We have so much work ahead of us, and a lot of it has to do with that generation that you are so in tune with. Learning from that generation that has been there, done that, seen that, and know the result. All the avenues between these generations have been erased already, have been taken out of our reach. Google is erasing history. History books are basically being eliminated. Education is being destroyed.
The educational system at this point puts out more misinformation than it does information. Okay, and with Shem, what I see is because of the disciplines that he has had in his life, okay, in fact, he's promised to teach me Tai Chi, but meanwhile back at the ranch, he studied martial arts in so many different ways. And so he comes towards this differently than a lot of people because he takes it in. He absorbs it. He experiences it. And then he lets it out when he has the answer. I'm the exact opposite. If I'm thinking about it, it's falling out of my mouth. And I
Sometimes
think
I
that's
can't
the
stop it
difference.
from falling out of my mouth.
There you go. But it's a different generation.
Reach out to each other and bridge the gap. We each have something to learn from one another, no matter the age and difference.
But how do you open up that avenue of communication between the people
Without
that
judgment,
know?
create a platform that is open, friendly, honest, with transparency and love and respect to all human beings.
I believe the key to that is, and I wonder if you're going to agree with me, acceptance. We have to learn, again, how to accept things that are not the way we expect them to be.
I'll buy that to a certain extent,
Okay?
but I will never, ever, ever accept communism or socialism as something that's good for the human condition.
But I'm not talking about things. I'm not talking about values. I'm actually talking about human beings.
If it wasn't for human beings, you wouldn't have all that, because it's something that these people have decided that they're going to embrace. A lot of it is misinformation. They don't realize that in accepting socialism or communism, they've done away with what America is, which is free enterprise.
God gave us free will.
That's right.
And free will comes with a choice. Free enterprise comes with a choice. The choice to be an individual, the choice to choose. To keep the dream alive, to be free.
And freedom is something we're watching being taken away from us. And we all know and understand. And most of us are smart enough to understand that what we're talking about is that simple. Unity. We need to understand, we need to unite. And
Unity brings freedom, which allows for individuality.
exactly. And when I say acceptance, I think what I mean most by that is we as human beings, as people that are Americans, forgot the most important thing about our country. We, Americans, America is the melting pot of the world.
Absolutely.
We are the world.
There's no place in the world you can go to and be accepted for who you are, what you choose to be in your life.
Absolutely.
Your gender, the things that we get to choose being Americans are to some mind-blowing. But the beauty of this is we don't have to agree with them.
Absolutely.
We have to respect the choice that that person made to be who they are. And with this war that the left is creating, what is happening is people forget that they do not have the ability and they cannot take the responsibility to judge someone for being who they choose to be. As long as their choice does not affect you personally, it stays their choice. And you can love it, you can leave it, or you can just respect it. But in overall, we're all here to fight the same fight. We're all here in this predicament. We are all here to fight for our country. I don't care whether you're Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Indian, Russian. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your background is. You come to my country. You're a citizen of this country legally. And you love this country for everything this country offers us. Every opportunity we get to have as an American citizen. To be blessed. To raise our kids with the opportunities that are open to them. To become anybody or anything they want. To have as much as or as little as they're willing to work for. If you come to this country with those beliefs, wanting the American dream, wanting to help prosper this country with your presence, I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your nationality is. I don't care what your sexual preferences are. I care that you love my country because this is your country and you want to be an American. You, no matter where you come from, want to carry the American flag. You want to wave the American flag. And you want to be proud to stand on that platform waving the American flag, being congratulated on being an American citizen. And if God blessed you enough to give birth in this wonderful country with this amazing medicine that we have taken for granted again, and we have let a lot of bad people take advantage of the good things that this medicine offers. And we'll talk about this because we're just trying to attack this. We're just trying to deal with this. If you're lucky enough to be in this country and to experience that, that is all worth fighting for. This is all worth being grateful for. And this is all staring us in the face. And we're watching it disappear in front of our eyes. So I will say my usual thing for everyone and anyone who is listening, who has just recently joined our group.
God is great.
Yes,
God
God is
is a
great.
powerful tool. We'd like to take a moment to give the respects to everybody who was out there on the front line fighting for freedom, for the choice of freedom, for the choice of individualism, to be an individual, to dress the way you want to dress, walk the way you want to walk, talk the way you want to talk, to be a human being on earth, to be free, the way God intended human beings to be. Open, loving, caring, giving. Give more than you receive. Listen more than you speak. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Use it accordingly.
Amen.
And to that, I'm going to say, we've been talking about our program so much this week and surprising a lot of people by what we've been able to achieve in such a short period of time. And we've been blessed to be in this wonderful space where we get to appreciate the fact that we're sitting here with amazing pieces of art, and we are so looking forward to announcing all of our future events, which are going to be held in Pierre's memory, which every piece of art introduces back into our homes: love, peace, religion, grace, God, respect, unity, colors, beautiful skies, which we forgot exist. And it's an everyday gift when you get to wake up in the morning and look at the sky and appreciate every cloud. No, but we're so consumed with what we can get out of the day for ourselves. So let's start thinking, are our freedoms important to us? Is our country important to us? And let's think about it this way. Each one of us cannot fight the fight alone. Each one of us cannot do this alone. We need to unite as a unit. This is the only way we will keep the country that we love so much. We will keep the freedom that we enjoy and take for granted every single day. Because nobody can spare all their time to one cause. But everybody can spend some time doing something for that cause. We have 30,000 people in our group. 1 hour. 1 hour a week. That's 30,000 hours a week of work we can get accomplished. 1 hour a week is not something that you can't spare. One single dollar a week can help a lot of people work on things that you do not have the time to do, and get paid and focus only on providing you what you are fighting for, what we are trying to fight for to keep in our beautiful country. And skills. Imagine, we have such skilled people in America. If you can dedicate your skills 1 hour a day, 30,000 skills attacking one program.
Many hands make the workload light.
And we were
Join
actually
together.
talking about the ants.
Mm.
Why are ants the most amazing creatures on this earth? Because being as small as they are, they know how to unite. And they know how to get the work done because of their unity. We have to go back to history. We have to go back to the simple way of thinking. Things do not need to be complicated. It can be as simple as that. We as human beings decided one day that we want more. And when we got more, we decided we want more than that. It never stops. Now we see what we've become. We've become the me generation. And the me generation cannot survive. So start thinking about the we generation and how we can unite together in producing more, in winning more, in achieving more, and in teaching more, in learning more. In unity, we can bring something that we are losing and that is being taken away. We need to get up, be the adults in the room, and take our freedom back, take our country back. And we must remember one thing. We vote these people into office. We are responsible for them doing their job. And we, the people, need to start holding them accountable. And we must demand they do their job because we're their boss. So with that, I say thank you so much. And we're going to be making announcements throughout the week about our future events. And we were going to put a few pieces of Pierre's art for all of you to enjoy. And hopefully you can join us wherever we have the events and get to look at the art. Maybe even get a chance to purchase some of the art. And get to understand the meaning behind that art, behind every single piece. Because that's what makes this art special.
Pierre was always thinking and dreaming. And in fact, he had a great joke that he used to tell towards the end of his life. People would say to him, wow, and they'd be talking about, you're 90, you're 88, and Pierre would just say, yes, but I'm gonna live forever. And people would say, how do you know that? And he'd say, or you can't live forever. And he'd say, yes, I can. I said, I went to God and I asked him, I said, God, I don't mind dying. I just want you to promise me one thing, and then I'll be okay as an artist with whether I'm, when I'm dying. And God thought that was reasonable, so he said to Pierre, okay. And Pierre said, ever since then, I'm always thinking about one project while I have 2 other ones going, so I'll never be through, and therefore I'll be here forever.
There you go. And I have to say, Jean, I've seen some pieces, but to see them in front of me,
It's going to be wonderful
It's so
with these events
shocking.
for people to have a chance to experience what's there.
and I have to
Because-
say, you said the right word. It's not just seeing, it's not just looking, it's an experience. And
Pierre always said, when somebody comes to see my work, he said, I don't care if they hate it, I don't care if they love it. What I don't want them to do is to not experience some emotion, some thought, some passion, whether it's for or against. That's who he was. He was always in motion, and he was passionate.
And I have to say, the art, you can stand and stare at one piece forever, and you see something different in it with every glance, with every turn of the eye. It's something that we forgot how to do. Appreciate and take time to focus. So with that said, everybody, we will be back. We have 2 new members in the group, very strong members, very strong leaders, and we have the memory and we have the art of the great Pierre Matisse, who in spirit and in his art joined our program.
And I forgot. I promised to say hello to a fan. Henry, have a great day.
So with that said, everybody, we love you. DMB at AU4A. Join us soon.